Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Women Who Rock with Success, which is an award-winning show for professional women. We profile a collective of amazing women who are thriving to build their brand. Women are handpicked in various fields who can provide credible information to build your business and lifestyle. We are live each Thursday at 9 a.m. Central Time, followed by our latest brand, Women Who Rock Investigates. To learn more about us, go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com. Now, let's join our podcast host in the studio, Mrs. Diane Winbush.
Women Who Rock with Success complies with the rules and terms according to the Federal Communications Commission podcast guidelines. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own, and their appearance on our digital media platforms does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. All guests who embrace our media stations are experts who are licensed in their fields of occupation. All rights reserved.
And good morning, and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success Media. This is our second episode for today, and we thank you so much for tuning back in with us. On this session, we have an entrepreneur that's in the studio with us, and she is also a champion humanitarian and as well an author. So we're going to talk to her about the latest of what's going on in her life, and then we're going to talk about her book, and then we're going to talk about some features and components of her humanitarianism. And so we want to welcome to the studio this morning Sara George. So good morning.
Good morning, Diane. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely, and we thank you for being our guest. So we want you to tell us a little bit about you, I guess how you got started into, I guess, the first aspect of your entrepreneur path, whether it was, just helping someone else or whether perhaps you started on the book or as an author. So why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about you, and then I guess how you got started in the world of business.
Okay, well, I've been in business for about 15 years now. I started when, I guess I realized when I was about 10 years old that I wanted to be in business. I was watching my dad. He was a door-to-door meat salesman, and our lunch out was determined on him selling. And I can tell you one thing, we always got to eat lunch out. My dad always had an idea, and he is so innovative. He motivated me to think outside the box. In high school, he opened up a cable company when we first got satellite TV, and he saw an opportunity just by speaking to the installer, and he ended up being the number one provider in our town. So his drive and his charisma, it made me look at business as an opportunity.
Okay, great. So, I guess we'll get started with the humanitarianism, because I think it is such a wonderful thing for anyone that would like to choose to help others, support other organizations, support other causes. So talk to us a little bit about that and some of your achievement and accomplishments in that area.
Okay. I actually didn't. I had a rough start. I wasn't handed anything in life. I did have a little blip in life where I was actually homeless, and I worked 2 jobs to get myself out of that situation, and this was years ago. And working the 2 jobs, I ended up, in 2 years, I ended up owning my own home, a 4-bedroom house, and that just, to me, was the drive, and that took me up in life. But I from that experience, it made me want to help others, and so I became involved with the National Coalition of the Homeless. I'm a member with them, and then I am actually very active in my own community with the Mountain Homeless Coalition, and we help people directly. We actually do direct outreach, and I am up for the chair position for them on December 12th.
Okay, great. So talk to us a little bit about some of the takeaways, because now, you'll be able to, go to our site as well and then learn a little bit, about some of the other entrepreneurs that have been on the show. They have, they got 7, 8 figure digit incomes and what have you, but they started in a very, very small space. I'm telling you. And some of the people you see, they're beautiful. They got makeup on. They got on mascara. They got on eyelashes and what have you. But you'll be a bit surprised how they got started. So it's. I'm telling you, your story is perhaps more compatible just to, just with the rest of the women that have been on the show. So you'll be surprised about that. And we'd love for women to be transparent and share their stories with us as well. And so that's the reason why we always ask them, kind of tell us a little bit about you. So the audience can kind of resonate with the guest in that way. They can also be able to connect and say, hey, you know what, she come from this bad spot, and so did I. So we thank you so much for sharing that. So just tell us a little bit about some of the takeaways as a humanitarianism, and so what are some of the things that you want the coalition, or you want the media, the people to be able to understand about that as well, because a lot of times individuals, they take that as well, I don't want anyone to know. I mean, I know a lot of individuals, they are, executives, top executives, but they don't want some of their colleagues to know, I guess, how they came up, maybe on a farm or, a cattle farm or something like that. I think those are the best moments to be able to share with individuals so they can be able to know how to thrive past and beyond some of the failures, or it's not actually a failure, but it's basically like some of the pitfalls that they, have been through. So tell us a little bit about that, some of the takeaways, and as why, because sometimes individuals have been homeless. They don't join a coalition. They don't go back and try to help the needy. They just get up and take off to running once they, get the first opportunity, to move forward, and they never talk anything about any of the challenges that they had before. And I don't think that will make anyone successful. You have to know where you came from in order to know where you're going.
Of course. And my thing is, the way I look at a homeless man or a homeless woman on the street is, I'm no better than them. I am their equal. And I like to look at everybody as my equal. It's very important that we keep that state of mind, because in life you're not going to get anywhere by treating anybody like they are beneath you. Everybody is equal to me. If you're making six figures, if you're unemployed, you're my equal, and you have just as much contribution to this world as I do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, that's very important to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. And so, like I stated, just like that's the reason why we have these wonderful, amazing women that are on the show. And then I'm like, no, you didn't come from this type of background, because it don't look like it. And so some people don't look like what they've been through and what have you. So I think that is very, very important. So other guests can be able to resonate with one another. So let's go to, I guess, the next segment, and we want to talk about your book. We want to talk about, first of all, we want to talk about the title and why you chose that title, Don't You Dare Text Him Back. So talk to us a little bit about that and why you entitled it. Yes.
I feel that women these days especially, they kind of settle for things that or for people that they don't deserve, that they deserve to be treated better. And I feel like we are, as women, there's a stigma against us that we have to rely on a man in order to feel beautiful, in order to validate ourselves. We need our man. And I wanted to, my book is about toxic relationships. It is, about recovering from toxic relationships, and it's about being able to overcome that trauma bond to somebody. And it's very important that women know that they can stand on their own 2 feet without a man. And everybody, I mean, that goes for men too. I don't want to sound like I'm picking on the man, but I feel that a woman should be comfortable in her own skin and to stand on her own 2 feet. So Don't You Dare Text Him Back is just kind of encouraging women to stay away from that toxic relationship and to stay away from that toxic person, and to show that you're okay alone.
Okay, great. So now, in some of your story line from your book, taken from your book, and of course we're still talking about toxic relationship recovery in regards to you as an author. So the first line says, taking your life back and find that moment. So how does, in your terms, a person can be able to take their life back? Because sometimes, look, Sarah, sometimes people can be dominated over social media. I'm serious, not even meeting the person, face to face or anything like that. Sometimes we have women who deal with that type of toxicity as well, and they don't even know anything about the guy. And of course, we have these movies that were made out. That came out, I think, on Lifetime. She met him online, and he met her online, and of course, this probably been about 10 years ago. But sometimes a relationship can end up to be toxic, but how does the individual take it back? How do they take their life back, in your terms?
In my opinion, they take, and in my book, you take your life back by reclaiming and demanding that respect, not from the person, but for yourself. If you respect yourself and you demand respect, that you respect yourself in your own head, no one's going to be able to take that away from you. What it is that we let people get in our heads. We let people define us. And so whatever they say about us must be true. And then that's not the case. Mm-hmm. As long as we are confident and we know who we are and we're comfortable, we're gonna stay like that. Now, to stay like that, if you hear something every day, you're gonna start believing it. If you tell a child that he's stupid, he's gonna start believing it. And that's why we have, right. We're so careful with our words, especially with children. But with women, we're vulnerable. And if you're going to hear that every day, you're going to start believing it. So what you need to do is you need to stay away from it. You can, you just at a distance. You don't have to have these people in your life that make you feel like you're something you're not. And that's really what I think is the best thing to do, is just stay away from the people that make us feel uncomfortable. Stay away from the people that make us feel like we are something we're not, like we're stupid or we're not capable. Because every woman and every person is capable as long as we believe in ourselves.
Mm-hmm,
and that's
absolutely.
That's advice.
Yeah. So we're going to reciprocate that, and we're going to reverse it around. So take, for example, if a listener from the audience is picking up your book for the first time and they're reading it, okay, because right now it's they can be able to access it on Kindle Unlimited for free, those who have a Kindle account or perhaps maybe a paid account with Kindle Edition through Amazon. So if an individual is going to your book for the first time, what are some of the takeaways that you want the readers? See, because now one of my favorite authors is the Clark daughter and mother, Mary Higgins Clark, and I think it's Carol Higgins. Those are my two favorite, because as soon as I open up the book, of course, it's a storyline. It'll tell you what to expect of some of the facts and what have you in the book, and then the first paragraph, it catches you soon as you get into the first paragraph, the meat and potatoes right there, and I won't even put the book down. I think I will probably even read it for the first 2 days to make sure, because I'm just that charged up. So what are some of the takeaways that you want the readers to be able to grasp?
Well, I do like Mary Higgins Clark myself, so that she is a wonderful author. But my book it's a little different. It's more of a self-help guide. I do relate a little personally in there to things, but I kind of what I want, the takeaway would be, I want women to be able to identify the trauma bond and identify toxic relationships, because a lot of women get manipulated and convinced that it's them, and that's going to bring them to a level that they don't want to be at. And a lot of the time, it takes two, and that's kind of where I touch on the book. Is it takes two people. Don't ever blame yourself for somebody else's bad behavior. And so when you first open the book, it's going to basically help women identify what kind of relationship they're in, and it's going to help them identify the toxicity of their relationship. And just because, you're in a situation currently doesn't mean you have to stay in that situation. I mean, it's rare, but some couples do come out of it with counseling And I do talk about that as well. It's important to note that nobody is, it's not an incurable disease. We all come to toxic habits from something. Something causes that, and we can get out of it just as easy. But it's just to identify. So when you first open the book, you're going to be able to identify your situation and relate to it if that's what you need.
Okay, great. So are there any books coming in the future? Tell us about that. So, we a lot of times women experience just not toxicity right now. I'm pretty sure women are going through a lot. Now, just think about what we were talking about on the previous show, and so all of the challenges that I guess is going on with the media, the tech media and what have you, and things like that. And so sometimes that can also create a biasness in relationships as well. All of a sudden you have two individuals that are in the home, they're working, and they have income, and then all of a sudden somebody gets laid off, and then the other one is still working. And so that can also create. So I just wanted to kind of see if you would elaborate on that a little bit and things as to is there going to be a part two to this, because toxicity goes on for a long, long time in relationships.
Yes, it does, Diane. Yes, it does. I am working on it's not a part two. It's actually a novel. So this was kind of like my introduction, I guess. And my novel is going to be written in French. That's what it's not written in French. That's the title. Written in French. And it's actually a biography. So I am going to be releasing my biography in 2023. I'm hoping to have it released.
Okay, great. And so we're not going to get into that. We're going to still let that remain a secret and what have you.
Yeah.
So we're going to let that remain a secret. Then perhaps maybe you can come back on the show and tell us a little bit about it, the preview, when you already have the manuscript and what have you completed before it's released. That would be lovely to hear. So let's go back to the humanitarianism and what have you. And so tell us today what you're working on as far as how you're helping the community, helping the public or what have you in these efforts. So take, for instance, of course, we do this for professional women, and then we also have a humanitarianism organization as well, where we help individuals. We, putting together right now and stuff a turkey type of it's not a cookout or anything like that, but it's going to be like a giveaway and what have you. So tell us a little bit about that, too, as to what type of projects that you're working on for, I guess, those who you assist in your communities.
All right, well, and that's wonderful that you're doing the turkey giveaway. Just wanted to comment on that. Mm-hmm. I really like that. That's great. Right now I'm working on a Giving Tuesday campaign. As you know, I'm a marketing strategist, so that's what I'm able to lend to my organization, the coalition, is that I'm able to lend my marketing skills. And so I'm conducting a Giving Tuesday campaign, which we're hoping to raise $10,000, and this is going to go directly towards our clients. We're in the mountains, so we don't have very many homeless, but it gets very cold up here in the winter. And so I want to make sure that all of our homeless that are counted during the point-in-time homeless count have shelter. I don't want anybody out there in the cold. It's dangerous. It's a terrible, terrible place to be, and I feel like, housing is a right, and shelter is a right, and that's our right. And I'm going to make sure, hopefully through this campaign, that everybody has housing, that everybody has shelter, at least a safe place. And so right now we're conducting the campaign. Giving Tuesday, as you know, is November 29th on a Tuesday. And it's going to be a 24-hour giving event and I believe we haven't settled on the actual event, but I believe that we're going to do a canned food drive so we can actually have that to help families in need as well. So on top of providing housing for individuals without housing, we also prevent homelessness for families that are facing homelessness. So we help them by helping them directly with utility bills, with their back rent, and we don't have a lot of requirements either. So we're not like if you go to to get subsidies, it's a little harder to get approved. You have to show all these proof, and here it's just you have to have the financial need. And so that's really important. We don't make you jump through hoops, and that's an important thing because a lot of people don't have the documents or the requirements, and because they are homeless. And so that's kind of what we're doing now. We're working on that campaign, and we have a lot of fundraising efforts in the future. And just as a community, I just want to bring the community together to help everybody, because there are neighbors. Cost of living in California is very high right now. And people are losing their positions, and you see your neighbor losing their house, and you don't want to see them on the street. And so that's, as a community, I just want to come together and help. And that's what I'm trying to create now, is that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so very, very wonderful. That is wonderful. I think about my little guys and what have you and things. I call them my little guys. But I think about them, and then, of course, our organization also supports where we perhaps maybe go a little bit further. If we don't do any cleaning in the homes or anything like that, but we do go in and try to check on them. I think a couple of our little guys may have passed away and what have you, and so you get connected with them. You become more attached and to also find ways where you can be able to help them in other areas, medical, trying to find them the best insurances they can, because it's a lot that they have to go through as well. Most of our community that we support is mostly seniors. And so I guess that's just where we are right there, too. So I'm kind of figuring out a little idea and stuff for them for Christmas, maybe draw names or something like that and give them a gas card. So it's always fun to connect with individuals or know someone else that perhaps maybe have the same mindset that, reaches out to the public, reaches out to the community, not afraid to be embarrassed to say, look, I've been through this right here before. Because I feel that if you have not gone through anything, how can you know how to help someone? They had the situation on the news about the gentleman that had embezzled so many millions of dollars off of food stamps. So apparently he couldn't have went through anything in order for him to, and I think he was like a very famous celebrity or something like that. So I just feel that there is so much where people are being taken advantage of, where we have so much where we should, be supporting and helping. So thank you so much for that, for your help in the support in your area. And I wanted to share another thing. You made a statement about the cost of living. So it was an individual from Tennessee. And that's where we are. So from Tennessee, they went and visited in California. So in California, I think she bought an ice cream, a dish of ice cream or ice cream cone and a cookie. I think she told me it was $14. So I agree with you. When she told us that, I'm like, okay, Los Angeles will not be the place where I will be visiting. That's a lot. That is
that's
a
about
lot.
Right.
That is
That's about right.
Yeah, she was like $14. I'm like, good grief. I think we can get 3 cookies here at Subway for $1, and I think the sub itself may cost $3 or $4. So you can go home, with a drink and a combo and stuff like that under $10. Good night. So anyway, we want you to be able to
I need to move to Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, we could go there and you could probably come here and get a combo with chips, cookies, sub, and a drink, and they'll have you under $10. Probably about 8 total would be the max amount. But you all live up there with the stars, so they have to be able to increase all of that. And then you all have a lot that's going on in California, a lot of more amenities, perhaps maybe than other states in the United States as well. So do I understand? No, but blessings to you, though. So what would you like to leave with the listeners before we go? What would you like to leave in regards to, all of the components that we have been talking about in regards to how you help others? And even though it's an author, you're an author of this book that's still helping others. It may not be physically, but it's, in another type of tangible way. So share with the listeners as to what you want to leave with them today.
I'll leave with this. In my house, it's a bad word to say can't. And if my kids say can't, if my kids say they can't do something, I'm going to say watch your mouth, And I want to leave that with the listeners is that don't say you can't do anything, because you can. It's that's the one thing is when you tell yourself you can't do something, you're not going to do it. So if you want to help others, if you want to write a book, if you want to get your degree, if you want to overcome homelessness, if you want to overcome any situation you're in, never say you can't do it, because you can, and I'm proof that you can, because I've overcome a lot of obstacles in my life, and I'm here because I said I can.
Absolutely. So share with the listeners also, Sara, as to how they can be able to find your book, how they can be able to find you online, whether it's social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, and then any other type of upcoming events that you have in the community. You can be able to share that at this time.
Okay. You can find my book on Amazon. Right now it's free for 7 days. And you can find that by just searching "Don't You Dare Text Him Back: Toxic Relationship Recovery" by Sara George. Type that in the search bar, and it'll pop up. You can also find me. I do LinkedIn. I'm just look me up, Sara George, and then I also have a TikTok that me and my kids do, so you can kind of see the fun side of my life. And it's then_there's_mom, and that's where you can communicate with me. And I like to write back, and it gives you a little fun insight to my life.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for being our guest, Sara, on today, and sharing your story and sharing a little bit about how women can be able to remove themselves from toxic relationships. Thank you so much for that, and also as to how you help others in your own public communities. Listeners, you'll see us next week, this Thursday on the 17th to join us, and we have a full day in helping individuals professionally in business, marketing, advertising. Just check us out. We'll be right here, 646-668-8317, started at 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Once again, Sara, thank you for being our guest. Everyone have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Diane. Bye-bye.